Would you like to know what's coming to Overwatch in 2017? I bet you would, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, I am Stylosa, and this is Unit Lost. So, there was a developer update video, and in this video, Jeff Kaplan went over what had happened in 2016, a year in review. However, he actually gives us tons of information as to all of the new stuff that is going to start hitting Overwatch in 2017. So, this video will go into detail on that. So, let's get stuck into it. So, the first thing we've got is the early 2017 release of OASIS is well on track. Now, at BlizzCon, they actually showed us the map for the first time, and they were like, yeah, this is the new map, and we want to get this out in early January. That was the plan, and it looks like it's on track. The map itself is well, it's actually quite hard to say how the map plays, because I've only played it once on the PTR, and because, you know, the way the PTR goes, you don't really generally get proper games on it, so you can only really test the map once it's live. But from like an aesthetic point of view and the way that the map looks and all of that stuff, it looks really nice. So I can't see it being that much of an issue, but we need to get it into rotation, actually on live service, before we can tell what it's like. But the team seem happy with it, so we're going to definitely see this in early 2017, which is awesome. New maps, you got to love new maps. We always need new maps. Now, the next thing is SOMBRA, because a lot of people, and me included, believe that SOMBRA is not useless, but she's weak. She is very weak. But the dev team think it's probably a case like Ana, where everybody thought Ana was weak to begin with, and nobody really touched her, but you could kind of see, I think Ana was a little bit more straightforward, right? You could see where Ana would go. Once teams and players worked out how to use her, she'd become very effective. And you look at Ana now, she's like in every single game. Ana, right now, in Overwatch, in the current meta, best hero in the game. If you don't have an Ana on your team, you're at a severe disadvantage, because her healing is fantastic, her crowd control is fantastic, her ultimate's fantastic, you know, and all of these are things that have been buffed or nerfed over the short duration of her life, but she's a very strong hero. But they think it's going to be the same with SOMBRA, and I think I'm going to disagree with this, because SOMBRA is, yeah, SOMBRA's got some use, right? Which it generally centers around her EMP and her hack ability. The damage she's got is not enough to actually make her worthwhile as a damage dealer. Her utility is kind of fine, you know, hacking health packs and stuff. It's fine and it's okay, but it doesn't have enough use compared to what you can actually field in a team. So the best thing you can do in Overwatch is kill the enemy team. And the thing that SOMBRA's not the greatest at is killing the enemy team. And she's an offensive hero. She should be killing the enemy team, but she kind of doesn't. And that's the problem with SOMBRA. Thing is, though, you can use her in creative ways, so you can use her EMP. So you charge her ultimate, which just charge pretty quick. If you hack a health pack and have your team all use the health pack, then you go in and EMP the enemy team, you can remove all their barriers. And it can work well for things like a D.Va-SOMBRA combo. So you EMP them, D.Va throws in her mech, and everybody dies. Because, well, there's no barriers to stop it, and there's no abilities as well. Also, just a straight-up hack can actually be quite strong. On the PTR, she can hack through barriers. So if that becomes a thing, then I think she'll get used a little bit more. But again, saying that maybe she doesn't need any extreme changes yet, I think SOMBRA does need looking at, because she's always going to be this very super niche hero where she's existing in a game where there's a lot of people who heal, a lot of people who kill the enemy, and the best thing you can do in Overwatch is kill the enemy or heal your team. So to have all these extra abilities is kind of like, I don't know, we'll have to see where that goes, but it's going to be very interesting anyway. We are going to get more seasonal events. However, they're not going to be your standard seasonal events. They're going to be surprising. Now, I've got one little thing I want to say before I get into this. There will be no Easter and there will be no Valentine's Day event. This has been confirmed by Jeff on the forums, and that's okay, that's fine. But what I think we are going to get is probably some form of Chinese New Year event. This is because Jeff actually said, in response to the whole debate about the legendary skin for May in Winter Wonderland, May's going to get a new skin early next year, so don't worry. So that probably means it's going to be Chinese New Year. It's a massive event, so you can probably expect them to cover that. But the more interesting thing to me is the surprising seasonal events. What I hope they're going to do with this is use them to progress the lore of the game, because whatever you say about Overwatch lore, it's not that detailed, right? We don't have these massive backstories, we don't have any current events that are really going on or anything ridiculous like that in the Overwatch world. So what I want them to do is use events as in-game storytelling mechanics, so they can just invent these at will and it can just happen. So instead of us following real-world events like we have this year, which I still think they will do to some degree next year, I want them to do their own events, their own lore-related events, like maybe some sort of Omnic uprising suddenly happens. We get no warning, we don't know when this is going to happen, boom, then we've got to go in and deal with it. Things like that would be fantastic for this game, and it would absolutely advance the story, and that's what we need. That would be awesome. The communication wheel is going to be customizable, but the interesting thing about this is they are going to allow you to use 4 different emotes and 4 different voice lines and 4 sprays at the same time. Now what that means is you can't use them all together, but it means that in a game, you don't just have to have one voice line, one emote, and one spray equipped. You can have 4, and then you can set them up to different hotkeys, and then you can use them. So for the emotes, you know, you can obviously only use one emote at a time, right? But you could change the emote based on what happens, which would be awesome. This, the voice lines, again, you could say a different thing. You know, maybe you want to throw a bit of BM out there and you're McCree and you want to use one certain voice line after you've killed somebody. You know, you can do stuff like that. It makes it more interesting and more fun. But the sprays are the interesting one. Even though you've got 4 sprays, you're not going to be able to spray 4 different sprays on the wall. You'll only ever have one spray active. So if you spray, you know, the kid with the punch, with a broken arm on the wall, then you spray like a Widowmaker spray, it's going to get rid of your kid spray. So that's great. The thing with this is, though, and Jeff just touched on this in the video, what you generally do with sprays and voice lines and even emotes is you pick your favourite one, you equip it, then you forget about it. So when you get a new spray and when you get a new emote or whatever in the loot crates, you're just like, oh, whatever, you don't care. But now, because you've got 4, you can suddenly pick 4 of each, which is going to make that much more interesting. It's obviously going to make it more enjoyable to open sprays and stuff in loot boxes as well. But I think this is a good change. Skins is an interesting one. I don't think we're ever going to be able to change skins during a match just because of balance problems. And also, when you change your skin, it would change the other players would have to load that skin in, and maybe their computer doesn't, you know, it's not as quick, so you could be invisible for a while, you know, or something ridiculous could happen. So I don't think we're ever going to be seeing changing skins on the fly in the game. What I think we might see is changing skins in the lobby before the game begins. So when you're in the hero selection phase, you can maybe change your skin there, but not once the match begins. This is an awesome one. They are going to encourage party chat more. Now, what this means is they're not going to force you to join voice chat. So don't think, oh no, oh god, they're going to make me talk. I'm not going to play this game again. They're not going to do that. But what they're going to say is, look, hey, there's all these guys in voice chat. Would you like to join voice chat? Because right now, what you have to do when you play Overwatch is you go into the game. If you're playing on PC, you press P to bring up the social window, and then you're like, oh, there's only 3 of us in voice chat. So then you type into the chat, hey guys, can you join voice? And then they might join or they might not. What they're going to do is turn this into a system similar to the join a party thing, or you know, after a game where you can click stay as a group. It's going to be like that, but obviously when you start the game, it'll be, hey, there's 3 people in voice, click this and you join voice. That's what they're going to do, and I think that's going to be great because we need to get more people into voice. You will win more games of Overwatch if you speak to your team. It is a fact, ladies and gentlemen. They're working on multiple heroes. Now, they're always working on multiple heroes, like they're always working on multiple maps and all of that stuff. One thing I do say is 1 is very close to being almost finished in a way, so it's going down the art pipeline. What that means is when they develop a hero, they generally just use an existing model. So if I think they use Symmetra for Sombra or something like that, so they just use like Symmetra's assets and everything, but they just change her ability. So she's got no effects, but they just kind of see how she would play with different abilities, because that will be the different character. When a character goes down the art pipeline, what that means is it starts getting designs made for it, starts getting models made, starts getting animation made. That means they're serious, because they wouldn't commit to all that because it's extremely expensive to do that if they didn't think that hero would work. So another hero is coming. Not really a shock, right? We're always going to see heroes and maps. On the topic of maps, more maps are coming as well, and there's more game modes are going to come, and they're experimenting with game modes, of which they say they've got a lot available, but obviously they're not ready for public showing or anything like that. But one thing we are going to get pretty soon is a new map for a traditional game mode. Now, this is not OASIS, because OASIS is going to come early next year, but we're going to get another map, which is going to be a traditional game mode. That's probably, well, it'll be a hybrid or just a payload map, that will be, because that's the ones we're kind of missing. Well, it could be Assault. It could be an Assault. That would be interesting. There will be improvements to the eSports Spectator tool, but the biggest improvement to this is a minimap. They're going to give us a minimap at some point, which is going to allow us as viewers to see what's going on. I think that's great. I kind of would like a minimap, maybe, in some ways, just in Overwatch. I'm not sure how effective it would be, considering you kind of see where your teammates are anyway. And you can kind of gauge where they are, but I don't know, a minimap, like having the option to turn that on and off, because if they enable this for the Spectator tool, they may give us an option to just turn this on and off in the game, so maybe we could still, you know, use it in some way, but that, you know, I think that's cool, getting a minimap. A very interesting thing about this, though, is when I was at BlizzCon, I was part of a, I guess you could call it like a focus group, where we gave a lot of ideas to Blizzard about how they could change the way they handle esports. Stuff like having an in-game news feed, what's going on in the esports world, even letting us view esports competitions from within the client, think Counter-Strike and Dota. Things like that would be awesome. So if we see stuff like that in the future, I think that would be fantastic. And finally, the last thing they teased is a server browser for custom games. That is absolutely awesome. We need this because what this will let us do is join games with crazy rules, because everyone likes to do that, right? Okay, we've got the arcade, we've got the different game modes that gives you, we've got quick play, we've got competitive, but we need a custom server browser, and they are giving us this. This is great. What this could mean is we get more sort of ability to mod the game in a way in the future. I don't think we're ever going to be in a place where we can completely mod Overwatch. Like, you can mod StarCraft 2, for example. We're never going to see that, I don't think, with Overwatch because of a lot of different reasons. But giving us a server browser for custom games is going to be awesome, because it lets us, instead of setting a game up and going, sending messages to our friends, hey guys, join this game, and maybe they do, maybe they don't. You can just set the game up and sit there and wait for people to join it, and that is going to be great. I mean, you could make new friends that way as well. You know, that's just good. Anything like that which allows us to play the game in different ways is going to be awesome. And like I said, it'll probably make them add different ways to mod the game in through their custom rule set. So we're going to have to wait for Blizzard to do this, because I don't think they're going to give us the ability to specifically do it ourselves. But that'll be great. That's more stuff for us to do when we play Overwatch. So that's what we've been given so far in terms of 2017 updates for Overwatch. I think it's going to be a great year. It kind of made me laugh when I watched this video from Jeff, where it was like 2016, like the year review, and I'm like, but Overwatch only came out in May, but I mean, okay, we had access to the closed beta into 2015, so actually it has kind of been more than a year if you look at it that way, from when the I guess the public, even though it was like a very small amount of the public were able to play the game. But yeah, you've got to remember, this game is only like 8 months old right now. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. 2017 is going to be the year of Overwatch, I think. 2016, the game dropped and had massive impact. But 2017, we're going to see, who knows what we're going to see. It's crazy. I think the biggest thing for me is I want to see these special seasonal events, and I want them to be lore-related events that further the story of Overwatch. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you want to see from Overwatch in 2017. This video has covered a lot of stuff which we're going to see in 2017, and I cannot wait. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been StarLoser. This is Unit Lost. You can follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming, and I'll catch you on the next one. Toodaloo.